The Development Bank of Jamaica, you may know it as the DBJ, will be hosting a one-day training workshop for lawyers. It will focus on the best practices for private equity and venture capital transactions. Next, we hear more about this program and other projects of the DBJ.
Thanks for joining us for Issues and Answers. I'm Ian Boyne. Today, we focus on the Development Bank of Jamaica's venture capital program, more particularly on a one-day seminar workshop, which will come up this Saturday. But there are other significant things taking place under this program. And we have with us the project coordinator, Audrey Richards. We thank you so much for your company.
Thanks for having me.
Good to have you on the show. I think we should start by explain what is venture capital and why is this important for Jamaica's economic development?
Venture capital is capital that is invested in high potential businesses. A venture capitalist, usually through a fund that he has raised by, attracting investors. Based on his expertise, he would have attracted investors to form a fund. The venture capitalists invest that funds looking for high potential businesses in order to invest and looking to expand and grow those businesses. Venture capital is sometimes called smart capital. Mm-hmm. Why smart capital? In that the venture capitalists not only brings funding to the business, but they bring their expertise, they bring mentorship, they put in technical assistance and help to build the capacity of the small business.
How is this different from regular foreign direct investment, from regular investment?
It is different in that a foreign direct investor will be looking for maybe one project that they'll be looking to invest and expand and probably bring in the same expertise. What a venture capitalist does is, as I mentioned, they establish a fund. And that fund typically is looking for several businesses in which they can invest. And usually the venture capitalist might have a particular expertise in an area. So he might set up a fund that is looking to invest, say, in technology projects or energy projects, that kind of thing, or any kind of project really. But the venture capitalist brings expertise and is looking to invest over several years in a particular enterprise. A venture capitalist is not a permanent investor in that what they will do is, as I mentioned, they raise a fund and over maybe a 3 to 5 year period, they would invest in several companies. After that, they then seek to divest these companies. So they're in there for a period of time, help to grow the companies, and then they can either sell it back to the original owner or they can find a strategic partner, particularly if it's a company now that has become attractive to maybe a global player. It's particularly important to us here in Jamaica at this time because a venture capitalist will look on businesses that a lot of our businesses do not have the kind of capital or access to the kind of capital that they will need to grow. You might have great businesses with great ideas, but they don't have the capital nor the expertise to be able to grow. So a venture capitalist brings that to the table and works with our businesses, whether it's a startup business or a more mature business that is looking to expand.
Good. So presumably there are billions in venture capital funds in the industrialized world that we can tap into. What would it take for Jamaica to have its share of venture capital? And what is the DBJ doing to ensure that Jamaica is in a position to do so?
There are several things. And the DBJ has recognized that as a public sector entity, as a development bank, the role of the DBJ has to be to build the environment for venture capital. Just like you'd be looking at things like Jamaica's competitiveness, global competitiveness, as measured by a number of institutions. You find that a venture capital environment, a lot of the metrics that they use for global competitiveness are the same that they use for venture capital. How entrepreneurial is your environment? What is your legal and regulatory framework? What is your tax environment? things like even the corruption perception is a major part of what investors will look. And interestingly enough, earlier this year in July, Jamaica was ranked on the Latin American Venture Capital Association's scorecard. So they do a scorecard each year, or every 2 years rather.
How well are we doing?
And we were ranked 9th out of 11 Latin American and venture capital, Latin American and Caribbean countries. We were ranked above Argentina and the Dominican Republic. At the top of the list are countries such as Chile, which have developed very good venture capital, industries. We, the ranking also identified for us a number of weaknesses, which we believe that over the next year or two, we would have dealt with, and we would have moved up significantly in that ranking. One of the weaknesses is the regulatory environment when it comes to things like pension funds being able to invest in venture capital. And that is something that we're talking with the FSC on, and the pension fund industry is also talking with FSC, because pension funds are a natural fit, because they are long-term investors, and they have the patient capital that a venture capitalist is going to be looking for.
And Trinidad has, for a number of years, been outstanding in that area.
Right.
So it's not surprising that they are number one. We're looking at the area of venture capital. It is not an esoteric area. Many of you have good ideas, saleable ideas, but you don't have the funds. Well, today we can tell you how you can match your ideas with those funds. We take a break, but we'll be right back.